I hope this works.
Right.
Okay. Well, thanks, Jeff.
Sure.
Okay. Well, then I'll start. Okay. Did you, Jeff, the other Jeff and Mike, did you both see it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Good. Okay. All
we
right.
watched it together.
Okay. All right.
You know,
I just
guys,
went to
guys
how
get
romantic.
together and watch movies like that, you know.
Yeah, how romantic.
With their
Okay.
wives.
Okay, Before Sunrise, and I just kind of went through Wikipedia and pulled out some stuff. 1995 romantic drama film directed by Richard Linklater and written by him and Kim Krizan. It was inspired by a personal experience. Turns out that a woman by the name of Amy Lehrhaupt and Richard Linklater met in a toy shop in Philadelphia in 1989. They walked around the city together, conversing deep into the night. And in 2013, Linklater revealed that that woman had died in a motorcycle accident before the release. But this is what inspired him to kind of write this. But he also wanted to have a woman involved in the writing, so that's why he got together with Kim, who had been in some of his other movies. The casting was extensive. It took 9 months for Ethan Hawke and Delpy to be cast. Principal photography took place in Vienna, of course. The film explores themes and differing perspectives on life, love, time, death, self-discovery, and romance. It grossed 22.5. It cost $2.5 million to make, and it grossed $22.5 million and received critical acclaim. It received a rating of 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is amazing to me. And on many critics' lists, it's like the best. It also had sequels, Before Sunset and again Before Midnight. At the end of the movie, there wasn't going to be any sequels. I mean, people just decided whether they were actually going to meet in 6 months or not. I think most people thought that they would, would meet in 6 months. But in actuality, they don't meet again until 9 years later.
Hey, no spoilers.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Were
Sorry.
the,
Well, you guys, you probably knew
God.
that already.
It's
Yeah.
in
the sequels
Wikipedia.
made a lot longer? I mean,
Pardon me?
were the sequels made much later?
9 years later.
And then
And
9
then
years
10 years
later.
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's yeah, they weren't going to be sequels, and then there were so many people that wanted to know what happened to Jesse and Céline. They had such a fan base that he decided to. And that second time around, and the third time around, Ethan and Julie Delpy also write, and they get credit for writing the dialogue. They knew those characters well enough now.
They did better at the box office too, didn't they? The second and third ones.
Yeah, they did very well as well. When Linklater first considered casting Ethan, he thought that the actor was too young for the part. But he saw him at a play in New York and reconsidered and started talking to him. And then he met Julie and liked her personality. So once he saw the two of them together, it was like, that was it. Let me see if there's anything else. It's kind of, as they're talking, it's kind of a stream of consciousness. And I think as when you watch it, you kind of feel that. You kind of feel these are two kids talking about life and all of that. And it seems, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I thought that their connection, their chemistry on screen was palpable. And, they obviously would meet again. So I mean, it has a lots of different awards, you know, and it's been on a lot of the top, you know, films reviews. And what else? And that's about it. It's only 101 minutes, so it's not real long, but I think it works. So, what do you guys think? Anyone?
Well, I did look up to see what, you know, it was very well received and lots of, like you say, 100%, and lots of people like, but not everyone loved it. I did find one critique that said, you know, that the you know, so much of what's been said about the movie is how natural and how, you know, the conversations, and this critic said he didn't think they were at all natural. They weren't true to the mundane, typical conversations in life. So that was one critique that I found of it. You know, some of Jesse's, you know, so then I, you know, as I'm thinking about it, some of Jesse's speeches were a little speechified, you know, that jump ahead, that when we kind of mentioned earlier, jump ahead 10 to 20 years and you're married and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, what might have happened with all those guys you met in your life. You know, that one just didn't sort of flow like just a normal, normal
See, now
conversation.
interesting. I thought someone that's trying to convince someone, they're going to use it. They're going to pull everything out of the book.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, so that like I said, that was the one part where I'm like, yeah, would it, you know, that just maybe was too smooth, but you know, you might, and then you know, just the when her, you know, her kind of come back to him was that, oh yeah, you know, free your body, free your mind, sleep with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really kind of, you know, feeds into kind of that that time period, that, you know, late 90s. I think that was more realistic to me. And I like the palm reader. I thought she was interesting, and the whole, you know, you are stardust, which of course, you know, makes me think of the song Woodstock, you know, we are stardust, we're golden, billion-year-old carbon. The bottle of wine, you know, before they have sex, that Jesse, you can really see his insecurities come out, and Céline, not so much insecure, that she's just kind of indecisive at first, but then she decides. And as we were talking earlier too, it was really never, I don't think there was ever a question in terms of this movie of will they or won't they. It was just sort of like, well, when will they? So those were some of my, you know, my thoughts, things I wrote down as I was watching the movie. Yeah.
I'm amazed the guy gave him the bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And he didn't ever give him his address to mail his money either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could see what was going on
Yeah,
there.
he was
like,
not going to get paid for it.
Here,
No.
yeah, here's from one dude to another.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably
and-
not his best bottle of wine either. Yeah.
Right, you're right. I'm going to say a, you know, $3 or a €3 bottle of wine, you know, a €3 chuck or whatever you call
Yeah.
$3 check, yeah.
it. Yeah. You know, isn't going to break him, but you can see two people that are, you know, connected.
Yeah. In the dream.
As to the conversation not being realistic and mundane, I think you have to take the setting of the movie where these people just encountered each other and they were kind of like, well, let's hang out together, and we're not going to see each other again, probably ever. So let's just, to use 70s jargon, let it all hang out and kind of really express ourselves, tell our secrets, talk about our deep thoughts. What's it going to hurt? Nobody else is going to hear this. You're not going to hold it against me because you're never going to see me again. What's to be lost here? I also was vaguely reminded of that movie, My Dinner with Andre, where they had this intense conversation, a whole movie with these two people just talking together at a dinner table.
Right.
And the conversation going back and forth. It is kind of stream of thought, but it is also, it's kind of like, what is the deepest thing? What kind of thought experiments can we come up with to interchange ideas with each other? What if this, what if that? And, you know, it was a charming conversation. And, you know, if we all talked to each other like that, it would be amazing, but there'd probably be a lot of angst and
Yeah.
hurt feelings and stuff like that, just because people can't do that and forget
Right.
about what they don't like.
Yeah, I thought the way when they do the telephone,
Mhm.
that was another way of really getting to
Mhm.
know each other, like as if they were talking to their best friend about the person that they just met. An interesting way to get to know the other person, and and what, they thought, she thought of him and he thought of her, without saying, I like you and you like me, kind of thing. So it was, yeah, I agree.
One of the reviews I read said that this would be a real Gen X type of conversation, and what would happen, the way that they spoke to each other, even though maybe we didn't quite get it, that's the way that it would have happened with the Gen Xers. It's exactly what they would do.
Except it was not, it was, oh, I guess it was 95, right? Okay. Right. Never mind. I was thinking it was before that.
Yeah. See, that's interesting. I think that it was pretty realistic for our time. Am I wrong? I mean, it
I don't
maybe
think so. No,
No?
not for our time. I mean, there's some similarities there, but there was just too many other things that were kind of, I don't know what word to use, disjointed, that we probably wouldn't have said or done. I don't know. But I agreed with the critic. Yeah, Gen X all the way.
How old is Gen X again?
Well,
How old are they now? Or how old would they have been
40s,
then?
in their 40s now.
Their 40s. Huh.
Yeah.
maybe 30s, because the millennials are in their 40s or getting close to it, like
Gen
35.
X, I thought Gen X came before the millennials. Like Gen X.
I thought it was after. I don't know.
That's what I mean. I
That
don't,
debate continues. We'll have to
but
Google
so
it.
how old isn't Ethan Hawke's about 60 now, isn't he?
I think it is maybe his 50s, I'm thinking.
What ages are Gen Xers?
Okay.
1965, 1965 to 80.
From 1965 to 1980.
65 to 80.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're in their,
Okay.
they're in their 40s.
So-
Birthday.
Yeah,
so
about
if someone
to
was
turn
Still a
50.
boomer.
They're about to turn 50.
So
Um,
that means that
And I know Ethan Hawke was
right.
born in 1970, because I looked at that, because Julie
okay,
Delpy
so
was
he
in 69.
is a Gen Xer,
50,
and
yeah,
they would have been about 30
25,
at the
yeah,
time.
25, yeah, 25-ish, yeah.
Huh.
I stand corrected.
It's okay.
Not the first time.
But, yeah.
Just make shit up. I make stuff up.
Huh.
Well, if I
What'd
can
you
put
think,
my, if
Jeff?
I can put my psychologist hat back on for a moment, there's the thought that, like, that communication basically has three pieces to it. The first piece is just to informational, to give you the whatever it is you're talking to the other person about, you're giving them that information. But the second part of it, which is this, that part of what you're doing too, is also supporting the relationship. Whether you know that person very well or not at all, or a little bit, or that sort of thing, supporting the relationship. But then the third piece is that you're sort of defending your own self-image. So there's certain things that we will, self-disclose, and other things that we won't self-disclose, depending again on, context and that sort of thing. But a lot of what we choose to share and how we share it, what we say, and the words that we, the language, word choices that we make, are partly to send this image of ourselves out there that we want other
Sure.
people to see.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
so you can kind of see that, I think, in this, that
Oh, sure.
some of his,
You always
some
put
of
your-
his musings were really meant to impress her,
And, yeah, impress her. At the same time, he's also, though I think what Jeff said has a lot to do with the relationship, because they didn't think they would see each other again. And when
Right.
you don't have that, you're not going for a second date or whatever, you can be more yourself. You can't, he was critical, he was cynical. Remember the poet and
Yeah.
the he's very cynical, and I think he was that I mean, I think that's the way he was, and I think if he thought he was going to see her some more, he wouldn't have been that cynical. He would have, been trying to be more whatever. I mean, that's just my idea. Is that I think that what was interesting is that they're not going to see each other again. So, like you said, Jeff, let it all hang out. I'll be me, and if you like that, great, and if you don't like it, you can leave and get on the train and go back to Paris. Yeah. What'd you think, Jeff Arthur?
Cynical may have been a good word for his attitude. I don't know, seemed like too casual, too like he didn't care about much. I don't know, but I don't know, I guess that maybe that was just the character he was playing.
Well, he's downhearted because he just been dumped, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, sure.
I wish they would have put more time into at least the end of that relationship, so we had a little more background.
Now say again, Mike. What do you mean?
Well, he's coming off of a breakup.
Right.
I would have liked a little bit of just a touch of that, other than his reflection. He got dumped and now he's riding a train for 2 weeks.
Well, interesting. What I thought when I first, I don't know if you've ever had long distance relationships, but my personal experience is that there's a relationship that you have when you're writing to somebody, and there's a relationship you have when you actually see that person, if you haven't seen them for a long time. You didn't know them that well to begin with. You have this long, or maybe you do, but not for years. Then you have this long distance relationship, and then you see each other. There's a whole different dynamic in all of those. And that's why he's cynical, I think, because he was expecting to be in love with that girl when he met her in Madrid, and realized that she wasn't in love with him anymore, and that's pretty, I would guess he's pretty downhearted about that, and certainly cynical. But I didn't think, I guess I didn't care. I mean, I knew he was cynical because of it, but I didn't care about, that's what I thought. It was a long distance relationship, and it just didn't work once they got together again. But
she kept my attention most of the movie because she's really pretty. But
I absolutely agree. I thought Julie Delpy was tremendous, and she gave a worldly character to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled the whole movie with Ethan Hawke in this role. I just thought he was miscast.
really?
Yep.
Huh, interesting.
I didn't.
Because why? Because he was cynical, or because he wasn't as attractive, or?
I don't know. To me, he didn't pull off either the love forlorn guy, or the couch surfing guy, or doing a gap year. I mean, I don't know what he was. I didn't care for it.
He didn't sell it to you.
No.
he's got this, like, even in the picture behind me, he's got this kind of almost sneer on his face. Maybe, I don't know what other movies he's been in. I can't recall any, but
Chris, you're gonna have to move your head over so we can see him in your picture. There we go. There he is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, again, maybe it's just the character he was playing. I don't know. But
Well, he was in Dead Poets Society. Gosh, he's
Something
been in-
about Hawke. What was that called? Hawkwind or something like that. Very early in his career.
And he may have been perfect. I was really curious to see how the women reacted to it, but he did nothing for me, and he just didn't seem right for the part.
Huh.
He had greasy hair and she had a gummy smile.
Well, I mean, and that was kind of his role. I mean, he'd been on a train for quite a while, just running around on a Eurail pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Must work for me. My wife has a very gummy smile.
Oh, that's funny.
I thought it was a good love story, but
Well, if
just
it didn't
his
work, I mean,
casting
what
put
I
me
think
off it.
works when it works is that at least I saw the connection between the two of them. I could see them falling for
Yeah.
each other. But
Mhm.
slowly. But for me, I could just see it step by step by step that it was just getting stronger and more
There was
intimate.
one scene that I thought they did really well that they didn't even talk, but it was like it was focusing on each of them alternately. Like they were looking at
Oh,
the person and they looked away, and then they would look at the other person, they'd look
in
away.
the music store.
Yeah, and in the
Oh,
listening,
that whereas, yeah.
yeah, listening booth. Yeah.
Oh, listening to
Yeah.
music, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind
Yeah.
of well done.
And there was that discussion about the marriage where the two people just look at each other for like an hour, and then whatever comes up, and then they're married.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Quakers or something.
Oh, yeah,
I
the
was,
that's right.
Yeah. Quakers. Yeah.
I don't think I have the depth of knowledge about drama, but I wondered if this was derivative from some general concept that's historically founded. Is it something that Shakespeare touched on? Is it something that was in, some other group of
Well,
theater literature?
in terms of literature, I don't know. I do what it reminded me of was An Affair to Remember, if you remember that.
Mm.
And that, I mean, with Cary Grant and Deborah Carr, and then before that, it was it was actually in the 30s. Can't remember the actresses and actor that did that, but it was the same. An Affair to Remember, at the end, they're going to meet 6 months later. And then of course she gets hit by a car. So, that's the only thing I can really think of that was just the ending was like that derivative of that, but the rest of it, I just like. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of that strangers to lovers trope that we've seen a lot in
Yeah,
various stories. Yeah,
there aren't a lot of new storylines out there, as
Yeah.
I've observed at least.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Midnight in Paris.
Oh yeah.
yes,
Yeah, a little
yes.
bit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Except there's no time travel.
Yeah,
Right.
no time travel.
and no Hemingway. Who wants
Yeah.
to?
Oh, but
Well, I give them both kudos to the fact that they can act for that long and
Yeah.
carry on that conversation. A few distractions in there, the dude in the boat that writes the poem and such, when they were playing pinball but
Mhm.
yeah, they just kept this dialogue going the whole time
right.
in some manner or another, and I thought that was pretty good. Wow,
Yeah, that whole milkshake poet thing, that was a great interlude.
yes.
Mhm.
That was
kind of
Yeah, it
really
was.
well done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was.
So do you
Yeah.
guys think that the poet had a standard form and then he just filled in whatever word people told him to make up his poems? That was part of the
But
question.
Jesse thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cynicism.
But
Yeah.
but even if he did, it's like it still came out really good, whether he
Good,
filled
good.
it in or whether he made it up on the spot. To me, it was like didn't matter.
I
To
don't
me.
think he was real. I think if they'd have turned around, he'd have been gone.
Oh.
Interesting.
Since
Same kind of
Uh-huh.
thing with a palm reader. She's
Yeah.
got a bunch of stuff that she always tells people,
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
butterflies and rainbows. Ooh, look at this. Ooh.
Yeah.
ooh, ooh.
Yeah, and he's cynical about that too. And then the reincarnation, how there can't possibly be reincarnation because
Oh, yeah.
there's too
There's
many
so many
people.
more.
Many
Yeah.
souls. Yeah.
Partial
Yeah.
souls, yeah.
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 So we're
But
one. Yeah.
5,000 souls or something like
Yeah,
that.
1-5. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, 1 to 5,000. Yeah.
That was a different concept.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
What?
Probably hacked off all the Hindus in the crowd.
Yeah. They do no good in India.
Yeah. Don't, and just about any religion, don't look too close at the science because it ain't there.
Yeah.
One of the things that struck me as I was watching it was because it was set in 95, no cell phones, vinyl
Right.
records, and turntables, which, and then pinballs and, not video games, but pinball machines and that sort of thing. I liked that, but it was also like, yeah, that's, you're so used to, well, why didn't you just reschedule your, why didn't you just get online and, rebook yourself? Well, you couldn't. It was 1990. Yeah.
95.
Here,
Yeah.
you give me your contact information, I'll give you mine. And,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll track you as you travel through Europe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it was so strange that they didn't give, they were just knew that they were going to see each other again in 6 months. So there was no reason to give each other even their last names, Now, let me ask you guys, would you be interested? Oh, I know, Mike, you wouldn't, but would you, the Jeffs, would you guys like to see the second one or the third one, or it did not interest you that much, or?
Well, the thought crossed my mind, and it's kind of like you get a story started and you'd like to see it go to completion. It's just the same thing at any kind of a TV series, even if it's kind of, you still get into the story a little bit, and
Right.
it carries you along most of the time.
I don't think I'd mind seeing him. Just not in a hurry to rent him.
Yeah.
You brought up cell phones. It reminded me there was this one scene where he wanted to take a picture of her. He said, "I want to take a picture of you,"
Yeah.
but then he didn't actually take a picture because he didn't have a cell phone. Probably he just kind of looked.
It was
at
a
her.
picture in his
Camera,
In
mind.
his mind, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mental picture.
I was thinking to myself, I was watching, I said, why didn't he take a picture? Obviously, he didn't have a phone.
Well,
I know there were cell phones then, at least in this country. I have no idea about Austria.
but the cell
But they
phones
look like
then
shoe
were,
boxes.
Yeah,
yeah, they were like
big
the
ass
size of
screens,
a purse.
Not
Yeah.
a very good camera.
All the
And they were
But
they
she
were
would have had
thousands
one.
of dollars too. I
Yeah,
had
she
one
would have
for
had
my
one.
business, and I called it my purse phone. It was like this big,
I get
and
it.
it was over my shoulder, and then you had to dial up, and oh no.
Yeah.
But she was
Yeah.
rich beyond rich. I mean, it wasn't a
Yeah, I
bar.
think
to
so
her.
too.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
true. Yeah. She
Yeah.
went to the Sorbonne.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she's leaving to go to medical school at Stanford.
Right.
Wait, this is like Goodwill Hunting all of a sudden.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong
Wow.
movie.
Yeah.
But see, I thought he would have been better cast in this. I was thinking
Yeah.
about
Like a
that.
Matt Damon. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Or young Johnny Depp would have been good.
Or then they wouldn't have had a $2 million budget.
Right.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to know who, I mean, since he took such a long time to cast Ethan, but Ethan is a really good actor. I think he's kind of underplayed, but I think he's a really good actor. But it'd be interesting to find out who did try to audition for this and didn't get it. Be interesting, because
Mhm.
Ethan is a really, well, he was another one where he played a reverend. I think it was called the Reverend or the Pastor or something. Well, yeah, I guess we didn't see it.
Look him up on
Sounds
IMDb.
like a horror flick.
Google that.
Yeah. Or just
Yeah,
IMDb.
it wasn't a horror flick. It was just a priest having a problem with his faith, and it goes. But he's just he's a good actor, I think. Anyway, my opinion.
Well, as I told you, Don, I did watch the other two
Yeah.
parts of the trilogy out of curiosity. Like Jeff Copeland said, you want to see what happens.
What happened? Yeah.
And yeah, Yeah, it kind of drags in places. Like, oh my God, $3.79 did I just waste for this? But I always have to find out what happens. So I watched them all to see. So before sunset and then before midnight.
Here's a bulletin from April of this year. Ethan Hawke says he would definitely return for a fourth Before movie.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, that would be interesting, huh?
Before, I wonder what it'd be called. Before.
Dawn.
Well, there is a sunrise already.
Lunch.
Yeah, it's before
Yeah.
sunrise, so we'd have to
Before
have
lunch.
it like,
Before I open
Before-
my pillbox.
yeah, before I die. Yeah.
Oh, Donna, I think you've got it. Before I die. There you go. So does it say any more about it, Jeff?
No, I didn't really. Let's see. I can find it. I'll see what else it says here. Oh, it wants, let's see. Actor replied to a question in an interview that he'd definitely be okay for another installment if he was approached for that. Ethan was at New York City premiere of his new directorial Wildcat. He said definitely. The whole reason these movies work the way they did is because all three of us were like-minded. It would have to be all three of us feeling the same impulse. And the Before films, all of which are set in 9-year intervals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a semi-long article. Sounds like everybody's still on good terms. So he feels like they could get along making it.
Yeah. They all write it
You'll
now.
see when you watch the other two
Yeah.
parts.
Yeah. It is interesting. But, well, I think unless there's any more, is there, who's got it for next week? Do we know?
It should be Mike Mahoney, but he isn't here this evening, so I don't know if he's
Ah.
going to. Didn't he send an email or something? Hold on.
Yeah, he sent an email just saying he liked the movie.
Well, good.
With me, enjoyed Before Sunrise, greeting, writing. Well, we'll have to ask him what it is before next week. Then he may not realize that it's his turn.
Right.
And then it'll be Mattson.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out something. I'll be gone.
You'll be
You're gonna
gone?
be gone next week.
Yeah, I leave Thursday.
Okay. When's Gary getting back? Does anybody know?
Where is he?
He
I
was
mean,
in
I know
South
where he
Africa.
is. When is he getting back?
He's in Africa.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, but
sorry.
when? Does
When's he
anybody
getting
know?
out of Africa? Oh no.
Yeah.
There's a movie out of Africa.
Okay.
You're
We'll just watch
so
whatever
good,
movie
Mike.
name comes up first. Yeah.
That's my pick. Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I like that one. All right. So did anybody watch anything worth a hoot?
I had two things, starting of seasons on two things. Only Murders in the Building, which is
Yes.
episodes come on Tuesdays. I've seen the first two episodes of this new season.
Actually, after
Really
midnight
good.
will be the next one if you're up at after midnight.
Yeah, right. It's Tuesday. Yeah, it'll be Tuesday. And then Slow Horses. Slow Horses. It's an Apple TV, Apple Plus.
And it's good.
Series. Yes, Gary Oldman, who's
Oh.
amazing. Kristen Scott Thomas, she's very good in it as well. I'm forgetting the other.
And it's a series?
It's a series and it's set in London. Slow Horses, basically they're, was it MI5? That's like their CIA.
Right.
Mhm.
If you screw
Or
up,
MI6,
you're like not,
yeah.
or MI6. Yeah, if you screw up, if you're not, if you make a big mistake, but they don't fire you, you get sent to, you become a slow horse. You get sent to, down to the minors, as it were, in spyness. Gary Oldman is in charge of the slow horses. And so I think it's in its fourth, is this the fourth season, third season? But you know how those English, there's only like 6 or 8 episodes to each
Yeah.
season. So if you want to, it's not too hard to catch up, but I think it's very, very good. And there's only been so far, this newest season, only 1 episode that's dropped so far. But yeah, both of those, Slow Horses and Only Murders in the Building, are my recommendations.
Very good. I watched something, and you'd think I was in Chicago yesterday and just got back, and I actually watched it. It's like 8. It's a limited series. I think there's only about 8. It's kind of like an Agatha Christie. You know, you just can't figure out and you think I remember it? No, and I did not write it down, and I'm, I'll have to go online and then I'll tell you, because it was an interesting, if you like whodunits, it's one of those that you keep thinking and then you don't, then you do, then you don't, then you do, so it's pretty interesting. It fooled me, and I like when it's like that one, Fool Me Once, I think it's called Fool Me Once, which is really good too. Another whodunit. So I'll get the name of the other one. Pardon me?
Like George W. Bush.
Yeah.
One of his famous malaprops is
yes.
Fool me once,
yes.
and don't fool me again.
Fool me, yeah, whatever.
He screwed the whole saying up.
He screwed the whole thing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is, the name of it was yeah, I think it's called Me Fool Me Once. Not this one I'm talking about, but another one that was really good. Fool Me Once, I think.
So you guys all got the Teague thing. Sounds
Oh,
like we're kind of settled on Saturday. I've never heard a confirmation or anything.
Yeah.
But do you think she needs any help with anything? Is Mike's daughters?
I would think they'd be involved. And
Has anybody talked to her?
I talked to her, what is this, Monday? I talked to her yesterday. She actually came up here. She donated Mike's oxygen concentrator and a bunch of medical stuff to our transplant support group. So we had lunch and stuff, but I think his daughters are involved in. So
I had a little question about having it on October 26th at what sounds like an outdoor deck, even though it's covered.
Yeah.
Might
It's
be
supposed to be 65 degrees that day. I already checked it out. Karen,
wow.
Got some long range weather forecasting.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but it depends on what time of day, that she has it as well. But I don't want
Maybe
to
it got
get wrong
heaters.
impression.
It's probably got propane heaters on the porch.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Have any of you been to BB's Longside Barbecue before?
I have never.
Okay, well, they're known for their blues and bands, and their barbecue is also very good. But the location is at 85th and Troost.
Yeah.
That is not a good part of town, kids. Do not stay in that area. Go back north towards the plaza, or even come up my direction towards Gladstone. Do not stay in that area. Do not drive through that area.
Is it where Stroud's was?
Yes, it's right by where the original Stroud's.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
How do you get there if you don't drive there?
You go on 435 and then cut off on 85th Street, I think it is. It's been many years since I've been out there, but that keeps you from driving through that area of town that is not real good.
Just come down Warnell and go to 85th Street and go east.
If someone has Teague's address, I just would like to send a card, and I just need the address, her address. So if one of you has it, or if you can,
I can send it to you.
Okay,
I think
please.
we all have it. So
okay, just one of you send it to me so I can send a card.
Okay, park someplace safe and Uber in, huh?
Oh, you can drive there. You'll be fine.
drive there, it's fine.
just don't drive
Oh,
up.
excuse me, just don't spend the night there nearby.
Oh, okay.
In that
All right.
area,
Yeah.
or travel on Troost, cut farther west, or go east and pick up I-435 and then go north out of there. There's a couple of
Troost, is
different ways.
that a street name?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll probably visit my sister.
If she has an afternoon service, that's not so bad. It's just,
We haven't heard anything online from Mahoney about any more conversation with that guy.
no.
About the records, the
Yeah.
archive.
Yeah.
Imagine Mahoney's getting ready for the debate.
Yeah, he's got to
Yeah.
be busy right now.
Yeah. I actually watched a movie that I was going to tell the people from the journalism school about, but I'll save it since there's none of them here. Talk about it next week, or I'll mention it again. It's Absence of Malice. And I guess
Oh,
that-
yeah, that is a good one.
yeah,
Or the
Yeah.
candidate,
Yeah. Another one, the
Candidate.
candidate is a good
Yeah.
one.
Robert Redford.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you, has anyone ever heard of a movie called, I believe it's called The War? So I was watching, I think it was Nicole Wallace on MSNBC today. And she had a brigadier general that has, written a letter about Trump and not letting him. And at the end of his blurb, he talks about, he said, it was just like an aside. And if you've never seen the movie The War, I suggest you see it. Well, I've looked it up and I can't find one that's unless it's the one about Vietnam, but it just sounded to me like it was a movie about a person that gets into the presidency that is like a Hitler. Now that's what I'm just making, that's pure conjecture, but that's what, kind of sounded like to me. But he recommended it and I was like, I'd like to see, and he's a brigadier general. So I thought, well, it'd be interesting to see. And I can't find it anywhere. So I just wondered if any of you guys had heard of it. I
Never have.
Well,
Well, I actually just Mike and Jeff with a J are here, but I've been cleaning out and reorganizing. It's that time of year reorganizing. I found my there it is.
Oh, wow.
Wait. 71.
Oh my
wow.
Here.
Wait a minute, Karen.
the
Wait a
Zoom
minute.
football schedule.
Fall schedule of all of our freshman year. Do you remember our record that fall? We went 1-10.
Yep, we beat Army.
Oh my gosh.
You see all these
At
above?
least it was a home game. We did.
Oh, wait a minute.
Home
Oh
game.
my
Am I
God.
seeing an entire
That's the-
collection?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I just still have my one that I bought.
Wow.
But I do remember going to those like the early home games and being like, well, I'm getting a good tan.
Right there,
Because
Kyle.
the games
There you
suck.
go.
There it is. There it is.
I went
Very
out as
cool.
a walk-on to the team that year
Yeah.
from high
you did.
school, and I lasted like 2 or 3 weeks before
Mhm.
it became clear to me that I was both small and slow. I got to know several of the players. They were pretty nice guys, but not very successful. As I recall, the game plan was 3 downs and punt.
Well, Mike, I'm the next time I'm in Springfield, I've been there a couple, 3 times. I have to come over and see your collection because I just have my one that from way back in the day. I think it was at my mom and dad's house for a long time, and then it came back here.
You'll have to hurry. I'm offering it to the kids to split it up and get it out of here.
Uh-oh. All right.
Oh,
Do they want it?
I don't know. If
Yeah.
they don't, there's a glass recycler nearby.
No,
Oh,
no.
I know.
no.
Take
My-
it back to the university. Somebody will
They're
buy
just
it.
little gas station things that they gave away when you.
Sell them on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sell them on
There you
eBay.
go.
Well, they sell at the resale places for $4 and $5 a piece.
Right, yeah.
Well,
There's
Yeah.
your
You got a
vacation.
whole set though. That's got to be
That's
worthwhile.
right.
yeah, my gosh,
Yeah.
$50.
Woohoo.
Yeah, woohoo.
All right, so that was
Oh.
my show and tell.
That's nice. I like
A
that.
good one. That was a
I'm
good
glad
one.
you got one.
How long's Mizzou gonna hang on to their 6th place ranking?
Until they become number 2.
Ooh.
No. My
Up
daughter
and
went to
over.
Mizzou and I was happy for her and she loved it. But I told her her freshman, year, I said, go to the games, enjoy it. Do not give your heart to those Tigers because they will break it. And, and she
They
had
have.
after she graduated, she's like, yeah, you're right, Mom, you're right. But then last fall, when they're going to the bowl game, I'm like, those are my boys. Oh, I just love them. I've broken my own damn rule, I gave it my heart, but they didn't break it last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
not
cool.
last year.
No,
Every
Very
7 or 8 years, they have a pretty incredible season, and
right.
it's kind of like the Royals this year. You just have to grab on and hang on.
Yep.
When it happens, that's right. Hang with it.
Yeah.